Right now, you're thirsty. Maybe just a little. So, what do? You walk over, grab a glass, turn a tap, and drink. You don't think twice. You don't smell it. You don't test it. You don't pray before you swallow. That water is clean. It's boring. It's safe. But that glass of water in your hand, for almost all of human history, it was one of the most dangerous things a person could ever touch. Because water didn't just quench your thirst. Water could empty you out from the inside and kill you before the sun went down. And the killer riding inside it had no claws, no teeth, no face. It was invisible. And it wiped out entire groups of people so fast, so completely, that survivors thought they'd been cursed by an angry god. Now, before we go deeper into this, and trust me, it gets wild, do me one quick favor. If you love this kind of story, the stuff they never taught you in school, hit that subscribe button and smash like. It's free, it takes 1 second, and honestly, it tells me to keep making these. That's it. That's the whole ask. Let's get into it. So here's the real question. How did an enemy you couldn't see, couldn't smell, and couldn't fight wipe out entire tribes of ancient humans? Whole communities gone, sometimes in a matter of days, because they did die in staggering numbers. And the thing that killed them wasn't the cold. It wasn't a predator. It wasn't even hunger. It was something sneakier. Something that hid in the one thing every single human on Earth absolutely cannot live without: water. Let's talk about how that water turned into a weapon. Here's a fact that surprises most people. For most of human history, we were movers, hunter-gatherers, small bands, always walking, always following the food. And weirdly, that kept them safe from one specific thing: waste. When you move every few days, you leave your mess behind. You keep drinking from fresh, clean, running streams. The bad stuff never gets a chance to build up. But then something changed. Humans figured out farming. They settled down. They built villages. They stayed put, right next to a nice, reliable water source. And that was the trap. Because now you've got dozens, hundreds, eventually thousands of people living in one spot, drinking from one river, and doing something else in that same river, something nobody wants to talk about: going to the bathroom. See, the moment human waste and human drinking water got mixed together in one place, a door swung wide open, and a tiny, invisible killer walked right through it. So what actually was it? We're talking about a whole family of waterborne diseases. And one of the nastiest is a bacterium that causes what we now call cholera. A microscopic thing, way too small to ever see. It lives in dirty water. And when you drink that water, it goes straight into your gut. And then it does something horrifying. It doesn't slowly make you sick over weeks. Oh no, it hits fast. Within hours, your body starts trying to flush it out violently. You lose water fast. So fast that a healthy adult, someone strong, someone who woke up totally fine that morning, could be gone by nightfall. Think about that. No wound, no fever building for days, no warning. 1 minute you're fine. The next, your body is emptying itself faster than you can possibly drink to keep up. Your skin goes cold, your eyes sink in, and that's it. For ancient people, this was pure terror because they had no idea why. They couldn't see the enemy. They didn't know about germs. As far as they knew, a healthy person just dropped dead. And then their neighbor, and then their neighbor's whole family. Now, here's the part that made it a true tribe killer. It didn't stop at one person. Remember, everyone's drinking from the same water. So the moment one person got infected, they made the water even more dangerous, which infected the next person, who made it worse, which infected the next. It's a chain reaction, a loop of death that fed itself. And in a small ancient community, a tribe of maybe a few hundred people, all packed together, all sharing one well or one river, that loop could burn through the entire group before anyone understood what was happening. There was no hospital, no IV drip, no clean backup water, nothing. The very thing that kept them alive, living together, close by the water, became the exact thing that killed them all at once. So let's break down how this invisible enemy actually attacked. Because just like winter, it didn't come at ancient humans from one direction. It came from three. Weapon 1, speed. It killed so fast there was no time to react, no time to figure it out, no time to run. Weapon 2, invisibility. You can't fight what you can't see. They didn't know to boil the water. They didn't know to move the bathroom away from the well. They were fighting blind. Weapon 3, dependence. You can avoid a lion. You can run from the cold, but you cannot stop drinking water, ever. The enemy lived inside the one need you could never say no to. 3 weapons, 0 defenses. That's a recipe for wiping a whole tribe off the map. Now, put yourself in their shoes for a second. You wake up, your village is fine. Kids are playing, people are working, normal day. By sunset, half of them are dying, and you have no idea why. What would you think? You'd think you were cursed. You'd think the gods were angry. You'd think evil spirits had come in the night. You might think the whole place was poisoned by an enemy. And that's exactly what ancient people believed. All across the world, cultures came up with the same kinds of stories. Angry deities, bad spirits, punishment for some sin. Because that was the only explanation that made sense. They weren't stupid, not even close. They were brilliant people trying to solve a puzzle without the one piece they needed most. The knowledge that the enemy was alive, invisible, and swimming in their drinking water. But here's the incredible part. Even without knowing why, humans started to fight back. Not with medicine, with patterns. Some groups noticed something. They noticed that when they moved away from a sick place, they got better. So they built the idea of leaving, abandoning a settlement that had gone bad. They didn't know about bacteria, but they figured out that staying meant dying. Other groups stumbled onto something even smarter, fire again. They noticed that boiled water, or water turned into things like broth or tea, didn't seem to carry the sickness. They had no clue they were killing bacteria with heat, but it worked, and so the habit spread. And in some places, people started making drinks through fermentation, mild fermented beverages, instead of drinking raw river water. Again, they had no idea why it was safer. It just was. And the ones who did it lived longer. This is the wild thing about human survival. We beat enemies we couldn't even see, using nothing but observation, memory, and the willingness to say, whatever we're doing here, let's not do that anymore. And now, pull back. Look at the big picture, because this is where it gets huge. This invisible enemy in the water didn't just kill people. It shaped us, same way winter did. Think about it. The threat of dirty water is what eventually pushed humans to invent something we now take completely for granted: sanitation. The idea of keeping your waste far away from your water. That's not natural instinct. That's hard-won knowledge, paid for in millions of lives. The threat of contaminated water is what pushed ancient cities to build drains, channels, wells, and eventually the plumbing that runs under your feet right now. And the sheer horror of not understanding why people were dying, that's part of what drove humans thousands of years later to invent the science of medicine, to ask why, to finally hunt the invisible enemy down and give it a name. Every clean glass of water you've ever had was paid for by tribes who didn't make it. People who died confused and terrified, so that one day someone would figure it out. So here's the complete picture. An invisible enemy came for your ancestors, hiding in the one thing they couldn't live without. And it had 3 weapons: speed, invisibility, and their own thirst turned against them. And they answered. They answered by learning to move away from sickness. They answered by boiling, by brewing, by watching and remembering. They answered slowly, painfully, over thousands of years, by inventing sanitation and cities, and eventually the science that finally revealed the killer's face. They lost so many. Whole tribes gone. Survival was never guaranteed. It was earned, one deadly outbreak at a time, through observation, stubbornness, and grief. And now look at you. You're thirsty. You walk over. You turn a tap. You drink. You don't smell it. You don't test it. You don't pray. You don't even think about it. You've probably never once in your life watched a loved one drink from a river and wondered if that was the sip that ends them. You don't survive your water anymore. You barely even notice it. And that's not because water ever got safer on its own. It's because thousands of years of humans getting sick and dying and burying their whole villages in confusion slowly, painfully figured out how to beat an enemy they could never even see. One clean glass at a time.